This is the Lambda Cartel episode number 2. I'm Pablo. Here with me is Scott, Mitchell, and Adam. Today we'll be talking about last week's update and what's coming up. We're also talking about F Sharp, and we have Mitchell and Adam for the first time, which we will listen to them talking about our take on F Sharp last week. That created a lot of buzz on Twitter, and we are just dying to know what they think about all the horrors that I personally said about F Sharp and its future, and my apparent hate for Microsoft. So, Scott, what have we accomplished up to this point? What have you accomplished?
Well, I'm still learning Elm, and it's baptism by fire. But I finally figured out after a day of throwing my head against the wall how to do navigation. I'm wrapping up with a blog post, which I'll probably put out later on today. That documents at a high level the key points on how to get it accomplished with the Elm navigation package. In addition to that, did some refactoring. I created two directories within GitHub. One is called client, the other one's called server, so that the server people can do their thing within that scope. And
wait, what do you mean the server people?
Well,
like that's
if you haven't noticed, I haven't really responded much to the threads regarding the server side and which platform as a service and web hosting and all that stuff. I kind of stayed out of it because I've been really focused on the client side. So I'm not saying that I won't be participating. It's just I feel if I'm not deeply involved, and I'm going to let the people do whatever they need to do without me butting in and distracting people from what's really important.
Don't call us server people, because that's an insult to our kind, you know.
Oh, okay. What I meant is the people that would like to prioritize by focusing on the server side responsibilities. How about that?
I'll let that one slide.
Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I implemented a login control this morning. I refactored and fleshed out a profile thumbnail control. So various controls that plug into the homepage. And I am preparing to focus on this contributor module. And that's next on my plate after I pump out this little blog post. And that's pretty much it. It's been fun and stressful at the same time, but that's what's up. Are you there?
Yep. I think he muted himself.
Yes, I think Scott, you should turn off your fridge's Wi-Fi, because it seems to be like eating all the bandwidth.
Is everybody else experiencing the same issue?
I'm not having any issues.
Yeah, it's where you're at. This is the same thing in the last session that we had when you told us to turn off our videos.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, everybody knows that this is a very low budget production. I mean, our bank account is in negative right now, so that's okay. That's no problem. So, Scott, thanks for that update, and thanks for calling us the server people.
Oh, God.
I'm not gonna let you die. I'm not gonna let that one die. And so, Mitchell, being up to?
Yeah, I've just been kind of getting on board with Elm, really. And kind of going through the project and trying to work out what Scott's divine plan is here.
Good luck.
No one does. Not even Scott knows, but that's good.
Mitchell, would you like me to provide a high level overview of what the Nikeza project is, or do you have
I,
a
I,
general
listened, I
understanding?
listened to I listened to last week's episode, so I got a kind of rough idea about what we're trying to do, or at least what the current vision is, which is a bit kind of it sounds a bit kind of social media aggregation for developers a little bit.
Truth is, we don't have an official definition.
Yeah.
This might end up being Facebook for all we know, and I will forever just make fun of Scott for that. But we're still in the discovery phase, and everybody's input is very important right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I threw like probably close to a dozen user stories on the project page, and so that provides some use cases or scenarios about how people would use it, but it's pretty much I would assume just adjusting course until we figure out what really makes sense. So Odie had brought up some really good ideas in regards to, I'm not sure what the term he used, but basically integrating into Facebook and all these other external APIs, but it's still kind of left to how we want to flesh it out. So
Yeah. It's very abstract at the moment, and I'm a terrible developer if you give me a canvas. Like, I'm just terrible at like greenfield projects. Like, I'm just like, can I have a design like this? Do we have a designer? No. Okay. Do we have a month? No. Oh, bugger.
That's what I told Scott. Like, dude, I need a spec. That for me is a very dirty word because that makes me feel like a PM. And the lowest point of my life would be the moment that I become a PM. And I say, hey, dude, we need a spec. And he said, no, because basically I don't have an idea like where we're going. But hopefully this week, I'm just doing some layouts. I'm going to just do my own idea, my own version of whatever it may be, and let everybody tear it to shreds. And that, I think that will just ignite the whole process. We need like something to hate on in order to understand that we don't really want that, and that we want something else.
Yeah.
So
Scott.
yeah. So thanks, Mitchell. And now we have Adam Wright.
Hey. So I had a couple of thoughts on what you guys are just talking about. Mainly, the one thing I was most interested in trying to tackle is trying to figure out how you can build just a library in Elm that has no UI. I assume that's possible.
I did that yesterday.
Okay. And then maybe try to look at APIs that exist for like GitHub and maybe Stack Overflow or any kind of dev type sites to just see if we can figure out how to build a little library to get stuff like, commits or something like that. That might be something we want to display in the UI at some point for those kind of integration things that you're talking about. I just thought that would be interesting and something fun to work on. So that's probably what I'll start looking at soon, if that's okay with everyone. So
you said to display commits.
Well, any kind of, you probably want to get some kind of information from GitHub about people as far as their profile is concerned, maybe with the projects they're working on, or number of commits, or I don't know, maybe
okay.
that kind of stuff. Just and Odie was talking about like a timeline, like I did this on this platform and I did this on this platform and stuff like that, and one just very crude implementation of that is like if you just go to your GitHub homepage, it shows all the people you follow and what they've done. So I don't know if you guys are imagining something similar to that, like, hey, Scott posted on his website and then he committed something on GitHub and then he tweeted this, or, I don't know if that's kind of possibility of what you're looking at, or I don't know.
It's one of the ideas. It's one of the ideas. Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of interesting. So
it's actually one of Scott's ideas, like one of the ones he mentions, and then Odie ran with it. But I honestly hate it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's basically a social network, and it's I don't know. And here's the thing, like I'm being very like honest, but at the same time, it's way too honest, because I've been down that road before and I've been burned.
Yeah. I have to cut in. So I don't understand what you mean by social network. Now, because we haven't discussed one of the modules that I had listed as a feature, which is being able to send messages. Now, that may deem it a social network because you are able to send messages back and forth. But but we haven't talked about that, so I kind of need clarity on why you feel that what we're building is social.
So I define a social network, any type of software that allows people to connect socially and to maintain that connection. Like an accounting software may have a messaging ability to send, people their taxes or updates, but there's no two-way communication that is established over time. You just receive your taxes or you ask a question, but that's it. On the other hand, email, email is pretty much the second social network in existence, and the first electronic one, because you can have connections and you can include people in conversations and you can post photos, and a long email thread. It's a sort of timeline in itself. The first social network being actual letters. So that's how I define it and I see it. And anytime I see that people, I want to take what everybody's doing, put it on a page, have a timeline, have messages, and this and that. What you're creating are connections, and you're taking those connections and putting them in the same box, for a lack of a better word. That's just my prejudice against social networks. For someone who is thinks of himself as being social, I'm very antisocial when it comes to social networks. So I don't know. Okay. So are we done with the updates?
I think so.
I just realized I haven't talked about mine. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Nice moderator. So what did I do? Pretty much kept working on the issues. I set up the podcast, which is based on these Google sessions. We have a SoundCloud account. We have RSS. People can already subscribe to our podcast through RSS. I'm going to submit it to iTunes and Google Music Store very soon. I started to do some mock-up work for the website, not the Nikesa website, but the actual website for the org. I haven't pushed anything. But aside from that, and I think we came up with a slogan. We have an official slogan, right? We had like a long conversation on DM, and you guys can read it.
Did you guys see that thread?
It's not public. It's not public. Like
yeah, but I mean it's internal. But
yeah, but it's hilarious because Scott just kept put in like slogans, and when I thought of one that I thought was good, I just kept saying, no, I want this one. No, I want this one. No, like that one sucks. I want mine. So we agreed. Well, pretty much I made him agree with the slogan, crafting correctness. The Lambda Cartel, crafting correctness, which for me, it's pretty much conveys a message of what we're doing at the technical level. And I mean, and at professional level too, because we're craft people. We're not supposed to say craftsmen. We're craft people, and yeah, sorry about that. And we care about correctness, and correctness is something that Scott brought up on the last episode. And that really hit me, right? Because what we're building, whatever Camel ends up being, at the technical level, it's what we're aiming is for correctness in terms of data, in terms of code, in terms of program flow, everything. We just wanted to build something that is correct at the technical level, and that those two things just speak to me, and plus they sound really neat, and they will look good on a t-shirt. So that's pretty much it. And Scott had some good ideas. We were going to go with what was the other one? He wanted to go with simply functional, and I'm like, but who's functional? Are you functional? Am I functional? Like, are we? Is that telling people that we are the typical programmer stereotype, that we're good with computers, but socially we are inept? Because saying simply functional means that we have social skills that are simple. It was a very weird conversation.
We had demystifying functional programming. We had functional everywhere. We had correctness first.
Oh, I love this one. Engineering maintainable solutions. I mean, that could go for a company that does toilet services. It was composing correctness. We're not musicians. We compose and deploy. We're not in the army. Composing, deploying, functioning. I have no.
We got into we got into a debate over using crafting versus engineering. I preferred engineering. Pablo wanted to keep crafting in there, but I think I do believe that when you're relying on functions that are deterministic and you're composing them together, and it's already testable by default, I think you're engineering software. But
no,
whatever.
Absolutely, but legally, in some states, in some countries, you cannot call yourself an engineer without having a license.
I'm getting across Australia, Africa, United States, and then the territory of Puerto Rico.
I mean, we are worldwide. I know, but I just don't want to be sued, I guess.
So Adam and Mitch, the best one that I really wanted was, I had functional code, and then I had the pipe operator, maintainable solutions.
Yeah, so but people don't know what the
code pipes into maintainable solutions, and he's like, "No, dude,
no, people don't know what the piping operator is."
I agree.
Yeah, so
then I have functional developers, scalable solutions, and he killed that. So
no, that's just enterprise. I mean,
yeah,
you might as well call yourself Salesforce.
Yeah, or Microsoft or something. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, like cutting edge, highly functional. I'm forgetting all the buzzwords thing.
Right.
So, yeah. But I mean, crafting correctness. It's simple. It feels right. and I somehow strong arm Scott to agree on it.
I tapped out.
Sounds good.
And so yeah, I mean, we're pretty much out of time for updates. Thank you, everybody. And now let's talk about what's coming up next week. Let's start in reverse order. Let's start with Adam.
I think I have the same update. I'm probably gonna start getting more into the project and devote some more time to it, and definitely start looking at calling APIs and figuring out what APIs make sense. I think like Medium and Stack Overflow and maybe Twitter and stuff like that, and just see how easy it is to do those things, and then maybe talk about it after I figure that out, which of those things we'd actually want to use and how we'd want to use them. But just starting to figure out how that stuff works. So.
All right. So, are you done?
Yep.
All right. And Mitchell, what are your plans for next week?
I probably don't have that much time next week because I'm going down to Tasmania, which, if you're not familiar with the Australian geography, is that tiny island on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Though they probably wouldn't like to call it an island. It's part of Australia. Evidently.
The only reason I know about Tasmania is about due to the cartoon, because I'm that ignorant when it comes to the world, but I know where it's located at least. That's awesome though. If you see the cartoon there, just say hi to him from me.
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures of Blue Devils.
Yeah. But I mean, it's okay.
But no, in terms of what I do have time for, I've been going through and kind of cleaning up the Git, because when Scott segregated the stacks, he forgot to ignore and delete certain folders, so stuff was added to Git that wasn't there before. That's not actually source code, so it's just like Elm build scripts and things.
Okay.
Didn't forget, I just have no clue how to use Git.
No, you have no excuse anymore. You can run Ubuntu on Windows now. You have a proper shell.
I hear you.
Yep.
So yeah, because I think before we had the instructions of installing something globally, and I was just like, global install, and bugger that. So I've just been messing around with node scripts and trying to get that kind of running. I think the debate last week was about what to use in the back end. There was a kind of split between either F# or Elixir. So I don't know, maybe it'd be nice to kind of play around with, I think it's Swab would be a nice thing to kind of try out for an F# backend.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
Hey.
you hit a nerve. because
I much a nerve. It's yeah.
I've been toying with Swab, and I even contributed to their documentation. So there's that. I'm actually proud of that. And I mean, is Swab a good replacement for ASP.NET? like because ASP.NET includes everything and anything, and Swab is a micro framework that doesn't really handle. It handles routing, handles I think cookies and sessions, all that stuff, but doesn't really include an ORM. It has its own simple patterns, but doesn't force you to use this verbose approach of ASP. So what do you think?
Are we talking about like the web API part of it?
Yes.
We're talking about services, right?
The back
When I say
end.
ASP.NET and Swab, I'm thinking about the HTML being served out.
The problem is the front end people don't know what the back end people are talking about.
Well, if you're using Elm and F#, they're both like ML-based languages. So if they can't read each other's code, something's going wrong. But if you've got Elm on the front end, do you really need all the things that ASP does give you? And if there are things that ASP does give you that you do need, just make another backend.
Mm-hmm.
Like Swab is good because it's good because it's small and we can start small. Because we don't know what we're doing, if it's not what we want, we haven't put much into it, and we just throw it away and start again.
Yeah, and that should be our motto. We don't know what we're doing. The Lambda Cartel, we don't know what we're doing.
No, it's lots of small projects.
Yes.
Functions should be small.
Yes. No, that's true. I get you. But
I think I was giving an update, and then we got stuck into a debate. But
no, but that's good.
I've back to what I was meant to be talking about, rather than distracting everyone, which is usually how it happens in my brain. I've mostly been going through trying to get like everything kind of set up so you just literally run 3 commands and you're off to go. Because I think I spent maybe an hour and a half trying to work out how you build anything, and it turns out that you actually just type Elm make and everything just magically happens. Whereas if you follow the instructions on the Elm site, it assumes that you haven't done certain things that Scott's already set up. So when you try to make the main file, it goes, I don't know where array is because it hasn't downloaded the array dependency.
Oh, yeah, JavaScript. Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, like Elm's biggest issue is that it depends on JavaScript. And JavaScript depends on NPM. And, oh, my God, 10,000 files for one little project that doesn't even have anything. It's absurd. But yeah. All right. So
that's me.
Yeah. Yeah. So Scott,
Hey,
before
can I interject real quick? Sorry.
Of course.
Just a suggestion of something else to look at. I know Mitchell said Swab, and you guys like Swab and stuff. The maintainer of Swab, the original creator, has created another project that runs on .NET Core, and it's actually called Giraffe. So that's like the evolution of Swab. And it's just middleware for .NET Core, so you can use it with any other middleware that exists if you want to use that in that pipeline. So that might be something else to look at as an option. It's so F#. It's newer. It's very, very volatile right now, but it might be something interesting to play with. So,
do you mind tweeting the link?
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good. I mean, the more stuff we can learn about before starting, the more time we have to waste and not write any code. No, I'm just kidding. No. The more, the better. I mean, because this thing is functional programming is very old, but it's now finally coming up to speed and becoming more mainstream. And so the more we know about what's out there, the more we can communicate and we can just tell people, right? And that's like one of the core missions, like making functional mainstream, which was one of the slogans that I told Scott, like making functional mainstream, which I feel it's one of our missions, but we haven't really realized it. And so, Scott, what are your plans aside from including the wrong files on GitHub?
All right, so I was going to try to defend myself, but that's pretty futile. So,
nah.
I'm going to be focusing on implementing this contributor module. Contributor is someone that actually contributes content, hence a podcast, a video, a blog post, etc. And so I have the routing working, where you can click on a thumbnail of a contributor from the homepage, and it'll take you to that contributor's page, and it'll probably be a bio, and I got to figure out what all that stuff is going to mean. But that's what I'm going to be focused on next week. And good about it. I think there's enough code out there right now just within the homepage for people to reference to see how at least my implementation works. I'm not saying that it's the best implementation, but I refactored the hell out of it within the last 48 hours. In addition to that, I'll probably add another 2 or 3 blog posts that cover some of the lessons that I've learned while going through this exercise or journey.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I've seen you refactoring. I see that I've seen that you're building like modules. And so when you said like content, I'm like, please just write a spec already because you were posting user stories and all that. Is the problem that you can't like come up with a design? Because sometimes that happens to me. Like I have an idea that I see from bottom up. Like I see the tech, but I don't see the final product or how it looks from 1,000 feet up in the air. Is that the issue you're having?
The problem is when I'm tasked with doing a spec, I feel like I'm more prone to analysis paralysis, and people want me to, I feel like people expect to see the UI before I even build it. And there's so many tools that I don't know how to use, but now I have to invest my time trying to figure out how to use in order to create a formal spec. And it's just something that is outside of my comfort zone.
Okay, I understand now. No, I understand now. I mean, every programmer, developer, engineer goes through that. Like we just we know the tech, we know how it's going to work, but we're not really comfortable making it look pretty. And we don't spend a lot of time working with the UIs, and we don't spend as much time as we should working with UX. And I mean, I'm with you right there. I had to learn how to use GIMP and Inkscape and a bunch of other programs just to do this logo of the Lambda Cartel.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best thing we've done as a group is the logo.
And I'll have a surprise for you guys in 3 days. I hope you guys like it.
Oh, nice.
Hence us arguing over the slogan.
That's why the 15-minute window.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited but a little bit scared.
Always be rejected at the end.
So all right, so that's Scott's updates, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, I built a test API. Well, that's pretty much it. Yep.
Okay, so on my end, I will go ahead and bite the bullet and jump into the deep end of the pool and work on the spec and the layout and all of that. And I will take one for the team, and we'll just go from there. That's going to be my main focus. I've already learned how to build the project. I've run it. I saw everything. I already I'm reading the code. I'm not I'm not as angry as I used to be with the current code. Like last week I was angry at the code because like, what is going on here? But the changes that Scott made just brought peace to my soul. And I think I'm going to do some administrative work with the charter, focus on the charter, which by the way, Adam just did a great job, and I just awesome. I mean, I'm really proud of what you did there.
Can people fill in their profiles on there or their bios on there?
Not yet. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bug people to do that, and if they don't, I'm just gonna take whatever is online, or I will come up with something and put it there. Like Mitchell is going to be a Scandinavian knight lost on the last war, and he belongs to the Republic. I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones and a lot of Star Wars, so I'm just gonna throw something there. and there might be dragons, right? And so I'm gonna work on that, and on the actual website, right? We need a landing page for people, to have our beautiful logo, icon, and slogan, and okay. So I'm debating. Do you guys want to have your faces on the website? I'm like your profiles with a picture.
No, I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
No,
So it'll be just name. I'll be just name and like what we do and whatever. Because I had this crazy idea and this is gonna be really funny. I had this idea that on the website, since it's called the Lambda Cartel, like if we had a profile picture, it could be like a mugshot. But then I realized that that's not really gonna go with a lot of companies out there. Like if we have like mugshot styled profile pictures, that's not gonna look very good. Plus, not to be that guy, but I'm Latin. So the last thing a Puerto Rican wants is a picture of him with mugshot, in mugshot style. So it's not gonna be very useful for my career. But yeah, one thing the website will be, it's gonna be black, the colors, and it's gonna be a dark theme, and that's all I have right now. But it's going to be very simple and pretty much just static. So those are my plans for next week. All right, we are ready to talk and make people cringe when we talk about F#. Last week we had a good conversation. I think I learned a lot, and I was persuaded into accepting F# as my Lord and Savior. And so thinking, I researched a lot. I saw what Adam wrote, about, and what Odie said about the F# foundation and all of this, all of that. And right now, in my head, I'm thinking about the number one reason I want to go with F# is to provide a little bit of hope in the lives of C# developers who are stuck in the .NET shop. And that's not a technical reason. I want to somehow demystify F#. I want to embrace it. I want to let them know that there is hope out there, that it gets better. This sounds like
a Suicide Watch channel or something.
Yeah. It sounds like a social
line.
Yeah. This is this is the 1-800 programmer hotline. Programmer help hotline. Things get better. Like you're gonna go through this. You're gonna be okay. But I don't want to sound like I'm better than them. I don't want to make it seem that we're above them or we are above C#, because C# is a tool that gets stuff done and makes people money and puts food on the table. You don't want to mess with
Adam
Yeah, I was going
actually
to comment on
put
that.
out blog posts and videos helping C# developers transition to F#. Don't you, Adam?
Yeah, that's my goal, and that's my website, is F# for C# developers. And I'm sure you're staring at my icon right now, which is my Google profile at the moment. And if you can see the green and the purple little thing there, the point was to take it's the transition from green, which is C# typically, to purple, which is F#. So that's what it's supposed to represent, is that, hey, I am a C# developer, and I want to get into F#, and how do I do it? And so that's why I created the website, and that's my goal, my mission. The same thing, exactly what you said. So
Okay, I visited the website. I haven't really looked
you're
at
fine.
it very But
It's kind of a catch-all for blogs as well. But I started out with that intention, and I'll come back to it. So anyway.
No, absolutely, and it's a great idea. I mean, be the change that you want to see in the world, right?
Yep.
You are a C# developer yourself.
Yep.
And so how, I have this question because I used to be a C# developer a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and I've forgotten pretty much everything, not on purpose. It's like the jobs I was getting, they were other languages, right? So how do you feel, or how do you see people moving from one to the other? Like, what's the process like? How can we make that transition better, or how can we present this?
You tell them to go to F# for fun and profit. I'm dead serious.
Okay. So I'm gonna do something crazy, and so this is my personal opinion, Pablo Rivera, not of the Cartel. I love that website, but it's not very well organized.
No, it's really hard to navigate. Like every time I go there, even though I started to learn a bit of F#, I'm like, okay, I want to kind of follow this track and then go from one topic to the next and get more advanced. It doesn't really work like that. It's kind of, you end up there by Google somehow half the time.
Right.
Yeah, I Google and that's the first thing that shows up.
Yeah, and I love the content. It has helped me, my God, a lot. But I wish there was a for dummies version of that website.
I think that's what it was meant for.
Yeah,
you have to go for dummies to like retards, like.
Come on. No.
Well, I'm saying like he simplified it already.
You're gonna get so much hate for that word.
Say it as you want. I'm saying that's the site that I go to, and I still have to like digest what he's saying just because he comes from a mathematical background and he simplifies it, but there's times where I really have to read the article and like drill into it and then get on Stack Overflow and reference the article. So that's what I mean. No,
I get you, but
I'll be the first one to tell you I don't understand something and I need you to hold my hand and walk me through it.
Exactly. So. It's I think that's the like we were talking about, like we know the tech, but we don't really pay a lot of attention to UX or UI, and I think that's the issue with the website. The tech is there, but the user experience is not as good as we want it to be, because you want to follow the tutorial style, right? You want to learn the basics, click next link, and just slowly build it over time. But collection of articles and a collection of technical explanations of how things work in F# and how to apply this pattern, how to apply that pattern, and it's wonderful. But it's often promoted as one of the best guides for people to start with F#. And when I started at F#, that was the website you told me, Scott. And then I was like, what the hell is wrong with Scott? Like, he sent me to this website and it threw me really off. Like I was reading about some things that were way over my head, and that led my little brain to just shut down.
All right, so let me interject real fast. So we're talking about F# for fun and profit. We're talking about the website and how people believe that there's opportunities for it to enhance the navigation of that site.
Yep.
Well, maybe this is a good opportunity to encourage Scott Vlashin to finish his book. Well, he has a book. He's been working on it. I actually reviewed it last year. And provided some feedback. And well, he's a busy dude. But I mean, if we're talking about it, he does have a book. It's very digestible. digestible, and I think it has probably I'm trying to find an alternative word to better, but I think it probably has an alternative outline that people could perhaps follow better. And so, I mean, if people really want to have a better learning experience, and maybe a website isn't doing it for them, then I think this is an opportunity for us to tweet or reach out to Scott Vlashin and maybe contribute to his cause, perhaps.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I agree.
I have a few ideas, if you don't mind.
Sure.
One of them is there's a bunch of people on this call who are all creators and like the
Adam,
language.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Your sound is coming funky.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I can hear you, but the quality is
Still bad? Okay.
Are you on wireless or is it plugged in?
It's wireless. I'll plug it in. Hold on. Sorry.
programmer laziness. I love it.
Any better at all?
No.
No.
It is what it is. All right, we're listening.
Okay, just go ahead.
Okay, I'll just be real quick then. I guess what I was trying to say is we are all creators. I mean, we can create the content that we want, right? That's one argument. The other one is I thought about, and Scott Vlashin has put out some paths to like start introducing F# into your projects and stuff like that through like build scripts like Fake or just unit testing. You know, just start with F# and then slowly introduce it into your org and how you learn it. And the other path that I keep thinking about is interop, because there is a really good interop story for F# and C#. And you can build pretty much any application in F# you can in C#. So just showing people, hey, I've got the C# app, how do I convert it to F# might be another way to start teaching people. So anyway, that's it.
Mm-hmm. And so Mitchell, I mean, you've been awfully quiet, and that worries me. Because when the smart people are quiet, it means that the dumb people are talking. You know? So what's your take on this?
On the fun for profit thing, I don't think the web's. I don't know. It's kind of hard to, because I've never talked to him before, but I don't think the website was intended to kind of end up as popular as it is. Like everything popular is just accidentally kind of became that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a link at the top right hand corner. It says download the ebook, so possibly people could start with that.
Yeah.
That's from what we were saying a second ago. Like the interop is really good in one direction, and that is consuming C# libraries from F#. But going the other direction, the F# developer has to put some effort into offering up a C# friendly API, because if you just kind of expose F# as raw in the assembler, then it becomes very confusing.
Yeah, I struggle with pulling in discriminated union. Basically, dealing with discriminated unions between C# and F#, especially doing mobile development and having a C# client project, and trying to extract a value from a discriminated union case value, like, or whatever the right term is, like that was borderline hell. So, okay, I'm still listening.
No, but Mitchell brings, a good point. Like the website was probably meant as an online, notes database for him, and to share with the community when the community was smaller. But now that it has taken off, because there really aren't that many resources out there, people are noticing that it wasn't meant to be something, as an online guide. And I mean, the issue is Microsoft, and this is my anti-Microsoft rant for this episode. Their documentation, even the it's not that bad. They don't really have, like what Scott has on his website should be on Microsoft's website, better organized. I mean,
it's open source now.
Microsoft follows
you can actually make pull requests against the doc. So if we want to come up with a better kind of wiki flow, you can make that and then submit as a pull request and probably get accepted.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad idea. But then I work with a project like Django. I don't know if you guys know about it, but Django is a web framework for Python
Yep.
that has such a good documentation that writing a book for it is deemed as a waste of time because nobody's going to buy that when the documentation is just online and well organized. And so I feel that if Microsoft had at least, I get the pull request. That's something I didn't know about. But if they had a little bit of evangelism and community, outreach and say, hey guys, let's fix our docs, and I mean, is it even Microsoft's job to do that? If is that not up to the F# Foundation?
I don't think it used to be, but like since their business model is moving away from, I guess what you would think of as enterprise, and everything's going very cloud, you really kind of need to reach out into the developer community. So, and I think in the last maybe year and a half, at least from my perspective, I've seen Microsoft try to get more kind of technical evangelism out into the field. So possibly we're still in that transition phase where we're still seeing the old Microsoft, even though they're trying to move towards this more kind of community grassroots kind of style of evangelism.
Yeah.
Right, so let me come in. All right. So we're in 2017. At Microsoft Build, I thought it was 2013. Microsoft, I thought it's either 2012 or 2013. They were responding to iOS and people programming with Objective-C, and they were really trying to push C++, right? They were trying to push that hard. Why am I mentioning this? Well, Microsoft will try to they focus on mainstream, okay? When Windows Store app came out, hence WinRT, Microsoft had more. It seemed as if Microsoft had just as much documentation, if not more, on WinJS as they did C#. Okay. Again, hence WinJS was a JavaScript framework for building Windows Store apps and Windows Phone 8 applications. Again, they're trying to reach out to mainstream JavaScript developers because they're just ubiquitous. You know what I mean? Now, with that said, I'm starting to observe and take note that I keep this on 3 different occasions. I hear about this Kotlin. I don't know if it's Kotlin, Codeine, whatever it's called.
Kotlin. It's an island off Russia somewhere, I think. Or
okay.
Actually, JetBrains may actually shoot me for saying it's off Russia. Yeah.
So that appears to get a little bit of traction because I've heard it from 3 different people, even locally at a cafe. And
yeah,
so it's when, and from my understanding, I thought that programming language was object-oriented, but they say that it's kind of functional first. I'm not sure what it is, but if it is gravitating more towards the functional side, and this is what Android developers are starting to build with, then I think when that starts to become the latest craze, I think Microsoft will finally start investing in F# as a language to start doing mobile in, as a competing technology, where Android or developers are starting to gravitate towards.
I want to chime in there. I'm sorry, but so Kotlin, interesting story. Google is pushing it because I think my main reason is that one. Not main reason, but multiple reasons. Like developing on Android is like going through hell without shoes, and really painful. It used to be more painful, but still painful, and they're trying to streamline that process. And 2, they were sued by Oracle and lost, and they're in this big litigation. And so if they remove Java,
I thought they won that.
Yeah, but there's, I mean, they were.
So if
trying to go after it, but if they remove Java from the whole equation and go with a language that targets the JVM at the lowest level, they can forget about all legal issues. I
don't think that's probably where it's going, since in Android M, which is the current latest release that's not in like beta, is actually running the Open JDK. So Google has abandoned Harmony, which was the Apache, this is the original Open JDK that was meant to be kind of the thing Oracle is going to release openly. So I don't think that really matters as much anymore, and so I think that court case will probably just probably go on for forever, because in court cases they do this. But they are using the official kind of Oracle SDK now, as far as I understand, because they're using the Open JDK from Android M and above.
Okay.
And yes, Google has adopted Kotlin officially as language. So they now, at I/O, they said that Kotlin is now officially supported, and Google and JetBrains will be moving the language to its own foundation. So JetBrains, I guess, will become a member of the Kotlin Foundation, which is what JetBrains and Google are going to set up.
Wow. So there's a lot of hype behind that, because Google is great at hype. I mean, they sold the glasses that make you look like an idiot, and people actually pay for them.
Glass hole.
Yeah, exactly. So they're really good at hype. They're not good on long-term commitment. But I think having JetBrains behind it, that's the long-term commitment there, because those people build some really good software, and they've been really, they listen to the community, right? And they're right there. Which, it's kind of like Microsoft follows the ball like a little kid, like the red shiny ball that goes over the road. They just follow it. And Google just builds something, hypes it up, and when it gets tired of the ball, it just kicks it away to the neighbor's backyard and goes plays with something else. So I think at a cultural level, that's the issue. Hopefully F# will become mainstream enough that Microsoft says, okay, let's put some money into this, and let's hire the Lambda Cartel to do the documentation. No,
let me get in, right? Because it's not going to be mainstream. This is coming from me, and I really invite you guys to basically change my perspective on this. F# is not going to be mainstream. Functional programming is not going to be mainstream until institutions begin teaching it as the primary languages. Okay? That means boot camps, that means universities, that means community colleges. And we continue to have or observe an influx of new developers, even through the vetting process, okay? And they're coming in knowing JavaScript, okay? That's what they know. We all know the challenges or growth opportunities with using that language. As long as the education system, whether it's a boot camp or at the university level, continues to pump out next generation developers that have no clue what functional programming is, this will not be mainstream. No matter how hard we try to push it, we're only pushing it towards people that already have programming skills, and they see opportunities to do things better. When you have a new generation in which all they know is this programming language, they're not aware of how to do things better. All right, they're already cursed at birth.
Yeah.
So
that's true. And I mean, so personal opinion. This is not this is in no way an opinion of the Lambda Cartel or other members. This is my personal opinion. I think that functional programming is still too high on its horse, right? Because you get in a conversation and another functional programmer is going to talk to you about combinators, about functors, about monoids and monads, all of that crap. And your head starts spinning around because you're just used to methods, parameters, statements, and all that. And so they start talking about these things, which are mathematical terms, and that those are great, but they assume that you are in the know, and that's a problem, because I'm not a mathematician. I like math, I like to study it, but I'm not a pure mathematician. And so if you're going to talk to me about functional programming, don't approach it from the mathematician's point of view, right? Just tell me this is just a function that accepts another function as a parameter, and it then decides what's it going to do depending on the type that the function returns, right? That's a pretty simple explanation of I don't know what. But if you use that sort of pattern and just demystify the whole thing and stop trying to sound smart, I think there will be progress. I'm helping somebody learn. I have a friend who's learning Python, and his professor, he's actually going to the San Francisco College, which should have a really good tech program. And the professor started talking to him about Python from the mathematician's point of view, because the professor is a mathematician. And I had to sit down with him and tell him, hey, like functions are just little machines that when you give them something, they return something in return, right? They're just little machines, little cogs. And variables, well, they're just buckets. And depending on what you put in there, that's the type of bucket that you have, right? So we don't really need to go that elementary, but we should demystify a lot of the functional things, like all of these terms, all those buzzwords. It makes me sound smart to say that I built a monad that feeds a functor and then returns a combinator. I don't know if that's even possible, but like nobody's gonna understand what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah, but here's the difference, right? Your Scala, from my understanding, your F#, these are gateway drugs to get into functional programming. Okay, so you can. I'm not going to really speak too much about Scala because I've never worked with it. But within F#, you can still write. You can still do object orientation, right? So these are gateway drugs that a normal object-oriented programmer can start entertaining before they go full throttle into your Haskell or your Elm, right? There's something else that I want to bring up is, well, if there's no catalyst, for lack of a better term, if this won't go mainstream based on my belief system, and belief systems are meant to be broken, right? But my belief system is not going to go mainstream unless it happens at the beginning stages of institutions for them to start, teaching this. Then perhaps the other end can be influenced. Perhaps there can be companies that tend to focus on leveraging functional programming to deliver solutions faster to clients or to businesses, and that the efficiency or effectiveness is, I'm not sure if I want to say an order of magnitude, but if there is a distinct difference in the quality and the delivery time of that solution using functional techniques, then that can serve as a catalyst to get more companies requiring functional developers to suit their budget requiremts. So that's another
true.
perspective. Adam, you've been really quiet. I really want to hear you.
I was gonna say that, like, am I high on milk, right? Am I just talking out of where?
I just was worried about my audio, honestly.
Okay.
I know. Well, I listened to the audio. I know. I think it was Stanford have switched their like introductory language from Java to JavaScript. And while JavaScript is not what you'd call provable functional programming, like you kind of think of with like Haskell and F# to a certain degree, it definitely lets you get closer to the idea of functions that produce functions that produce functions that can return a value. So even though it's JavaScript, it might be kind of the zeitgeist is moving closer to that kind of functions first programming model.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. If we talked about functional programming as functions that beget functions that beget functions that return data, it'll be much easier, because then I can look at things and for example, when I first looked at Haskell, I'm like, why do I need to, like, why do they include the term monad and really quickly? Do I really need to understand this? Why can't I just do a little program? Why can't you just make it, like, why do you assume I'm smart?
I don't think it does. I think it's because you've known something beforehand, and then you're like, okay, I want to put the console. And it's like, you need a monad for that. And like, what the?
Yeah, but
like,
I mean,
what's a monad? So possibly if you approach it with complete ignorance, it's like, oh, you need a monad. Okay, let's drop monad in. Cool. All right, works brilliant.
But I spent 2 years with Lisp, and Lisp is supposed to be the Magna Carta of programming languages, right? And it was wonderful time, and I'm always dreaming of it, and I really love it.
I always think of Lisp as the simplest programming language, because you can implement a parser in like 26 lines, whereas Haskell tries to be the most correct. Well, not the most correct. You get a bit sciencey there, but it tries to be as correct as practically possible, as crazy as that does sound. It does enforce the idea of purity in functions. And I think there's a book that's like, was it like, oh God, I can't remember. I remember one of the authors is like a linguist and didn't know anything about functional programming. So the entire book is basically the guy who doesn't know Haskell explaining to this linguist everything from the ground up, and just recursing over the ignorance until they get down to the kind of axioms of what is Haskell.
Yeah, because Lisp is like a blank sheet of paper. You can do everything. I mean, you can pretty much.
Uh-oh. Pablo.
Oh, his Lisp program wasn't typed and he's dropped it.
Math, right?
I think we dropped.
Went out for a second.
For a sec.
Pablo.
I think we're a bit over an hour at this point.
Not make me feel stupid. That's just it. Like it
Pablo,
make what's the terms? Yeah.
Because you're going out like 5 seconds at a time.
Really? See, that's the computer hating me. This Google Hangout seems to be written in Lisp.
This a good time to close?
The CPU heard you talking about non-von Neumann architectures and decided to have a talk.
Yeah, I mean, it was my problem when meeting women back in the day, but that's a whole nother show.
Wait, did we just leave you for a few seconds there? What were we talking about?
All right, so do we wrap this one up? Do we have any outstanding issues? Does anybody need to get anything off their chest?
I got some unit tests in there. I would love to figure out if we're in a position to basically attach those unit tests to the CI.
Nothing is stopping you. I think you got to talk to. I think Brian is the one who set it up, right?
I think Brian and Odie both have them set up, so they need to talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. This.
That's pretty much it.
I mean, this. I've loved this conversation. I feel tingly inside with like my spidey senses. And guys, at the end of it all, I feel that talking about things, bringing all the things, this different point of views, out in the open, without any mask, and just like, this is purely how we feel. This is purely how we think. I feel that we're doing something good, something positive, because other people will listen to it and they will realize that, hey, I'm not the only one who feels this way, and that's very powerful. And so I appreciate all of you, you being here, spending some time with us. And the next episode, we don't really have an episode schedule. I think it's going to be next week. I don't know what it's going to be about, but that's the exciting part. So I will see you somewhere at some time. All right. So this has been the Lambda Cartel episode 2 with Adam Wright. Mitchell, what's your last name?
Tilbrook.
Tilbrook, Scott Nimrod, and Pablo Rivera, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye.